In this recording, we're going to discuss assignment 2, which is an assignment on decision trees and random forests. In the assignment, what we'll do is we'll build a model using a single decision tree and evaluate the performance of that model. And then we'll build an improved model by using random forests and see that it has hopefully better predictive accuracy. The assignment is due on Friday, March the 4th, and we'll discuss submission of the assignment now and also on the Moodle page. So just like with the previous assignment, you'll submit your work, your R script, in a Dropbox, and then you'll fill out a Moodle quiz assignment called Assignment 2. Now, the data for this assignment is available at the following link, and also is available, as we'll see, on the Moodle site. Now, a recommendation that I'll make here, and I will show you this in a moment, is that it can be called up directly in R by using this link. And that's how I've done it, and it seems to work well that way. But you can also download it and bring it up that way. So then we'll look at the data and use that to answer some questions eventually on the Moodle quiz. As always, we want to use a set.seed command. So here's set.seed123. So the results are reproducible and will match the Moodle assignment as much as possible. Just as with assignment 1, it's okay if there is some variation, and we would expect this. And your assignment will be graded according to how it matches your work in R, not anybody else's. So first, what we'll do is we'll build a single decision tree model using the data. So first, what we're going to use is we're going to create a histogram for the wine quality rating. And do note that the levels of the histogram don't represent integers in the data set, but in other words, rather the 6 levels used. So when you do a histogram, the 1 in the histogram doesn't necessarily correspond to the rating values in the data set. It corresponds to the lowest value in the wine quality data. So just if you notice a discrepancy, that's why. So we'll split the data into training and testing sets using an 80-20 training testing split, and then use the rpart library in R to build a decision tree model on the data, and then to graph the tree, we use rpart.plot. Then using the caret library, we will build a confusion matrix and associated statistics on the testing set. In other words, what we want to obtain is an estimate for the accuracy of the model in terms of predicting the wine quality rating for a wine given a set of characteristics. Then we will create a random forest model in the following way. First, we'll classify wines ranked 5 and 6 as normal, wines lower than that as bad, so 4 and below, and wines above 6, so 7 and above is good, and then create a bar graph to display these categories. Using the same 80-20 training testing split, we can create a random forest model using either the random forest package or the ranger package. And then we'll test the model on the testing set in the same way and obtain a confusion matrix and then get an estimate for the accuracy of the model. Okay, let's next go over to the Moodle page to see what's being asked for and how to submit the assignment. So here we see the PDF for assignment 2, the assignment 2 Moodle quiz, and the assignment 2 Dropbox. As already mentioned, work is due for these on Friday, March the 4th by 11:59 p.m. So submit your work to the assignment 2 Dropbox and then answer the questions on the Moodle quiz, which we'll look at in a moment. The data is available here as a .csv file if you want to download it. As mentioned, you can also call it up in R. And then finally, there's a PDF here with some hints. You'll see some of these in a moment as well when I pull up RStudio. So these are just some ideas that you might find helpful. Feel free to use parts of this code. You may need to rename things depending on how you name things in your code. You may also do things a bit differently, and of course, that's completely fine. There's no need to use any of the code chunks given here, but you might find this helpful. Okay. So we'll go back and look at the assignment 2 quiz in a moment. But first, let me pull up RStudio just to show you a little bit of what I was talking about. So here, I've loaded the libraries rpart, rpart.plot, rattle, caret, and then random forest. So I'm going to use random forest to generate the random forest model, but as mentioned, you could also use Ranger. So then I'm going to call up the data, I'm going to call it line, and I'm going to use the command read.csv and then give the URL where the data is located. And so if you do use this bit of code, that's one way to call it up that you might find helpful. And then the next little bit here is implementing the first little bit of what we described in the assignment in terms of creating an 80-20 split. And so here I split into training and testing sets as follows. And just setting things up so that we're using line quality as the target variable. All right. So back to the Moodle quiz, or the Moodle page and then the quiz. If we look at assignment 2, here are the questions being asked. Number 1, of the categories bad, normal, and good created in section 4, which is the largest? So simply here, you just need to examine the categories created and what happens. Number 2, how many observations are contained in the data set? How many features does the data set have? What is the set of all possible values for the variable quality? So this is just, as mentioned, examining the data and answering a few questions about what the data set consists of. Now, let me just go back one moment. So here, you don't want to try to open the data. Say, like, you don't want to open the .csv file in Excel. The data will look very weird. All you want to do is is what we saw on the R console. If you run the code or something similar to that, all of this, all the information you need should be pulled up. But don't try to actually open the file in Excel or otherwise to read it. That won't be a useful way of doing this. Question 3 asks, what is the estimated accuracy of the decision tree model from the testing data? So this is where you're going to use a confusion matrix, and then you're going to estimate, you're going to calculate the accuracy using the testing set here. Question number 4 asks, what is the feature on which the first split occurs in your decision tree, and what is the splitting value for that feature? You'll be able to see this and read it off using your rpart, the command, or using the decision tree generated using the rpart.plot library. Question 5 asks, what is the estimated accuracy of the random forest model from the testing data? So here you're going to use the testing data and again, create a confusion matrix and then calculate the accuracy. And finally, question 6 is a question where what we are going to do is take the information that we've obtained and our model results and try to present them in a non-technical way. So question 6 says, Wine Spectator magazine has commissioned you to write a short blurb in their next issue explaining how your model determines the quality of the wine and what precision a reader should expect from the model. Write 1 to 2 paragraphs elaborating this. You may write your summary in the space provided or attach a file if the length exceeds the maximum provided space, in case you want to do it on another format. But you can write your answer in here. So the idea then is explain how the model works and how it's making predictions, and then explain the estimated the calculated estimated accuracy. Now, if you have any questions about any aspect of the assignment or anything in the hint file, please let me know, and I'm happy to help you out.